Hello, hello! A number of scene transitions are available in Vyond out of the box. Things like different fades, different wipes, or different rotations. But what if we wanted to push the envelope a little bit further and use other transitions and cuts which are more cinematic in character? Here are some transition techniques which I borrowed from the filmmaking industry and executed in Vyond. Because Vyond is a flat 2D environment with just one camera angle, we are limited in what we can do compared to a standard movie. Still, with a bit of imagination, there are workarounds which we can use. Let's jump in. Here I have two scenes, both of which have a darkish black element, which I used to zoom in and out for the cut. You can use elements of any color, not necessarily black. Just make sure that the color is matched between the scenes. Then I use the camera movement section in Vyond, which is here, to zoom in the first clip and zoom out in the second clip. In your animations, you can definitely play with the duration of the zoom effect. Here, I set both zoom movements to 2 seconds. In this cut, I'm contrasting the peace and quiet of the university library with a dramatic scene of a burning house in the second clip, and I did it through a vertical transition. I matched the color of the library floor and the color of the sky in the second scene using Vyond's interface. It is in the top right corner of the screen, so I've just taken the hex code for the color of the floor in the library here, and then I pasted it into the color for the sky in the second scene. There is a downward movement of the camera in both scenes. As you can see here, the starting position is red, the end position is yellow, and I also enhanced it to make the movement smoother by using a scene transition in the second clip. So it's a slide up and it lasts 2.5 seconds. In this cut, I used two objects of a similar green color, namely the curtain in the first scene and the shrub in the second scene, and the left to right camera movement to transition. Having just two scenes initially resulted in quite a jerky movement, and so I added another scene in the middle, which is very short, it's just 0.25 seconds. It uses exactly the same green color, and it also has a slide left transition of the same duration as the duration of the whole scene. In the last scene, I set the slide left transition to 4 seconds. Again, this is something that you can play with in your own projects. 4 seconds seemed too long at first, but then I thought it results in this more smooth, more fluid movement and a better transition overall. This cut is useful if you need to show your characters in two different settings. I started with the school scene, then created a scene with the beach, and then I just copied and pasted both characters there to make sure that they are in exactly the same position. Since the teenagers are static, I decided to zoom in and out in both scenes just to add some camera movement. I also added a 0.5 fade transition to the second scene to mark the change of background. In this cut, similar to the previous cut, I also matched the position of the object, in this case the truck, by copying it and pasting it into the second scene. So the object remains the same, but the context totally changes. And this is one of the nice things about those transitions, that you can surprise your viewer with a change of scenery. There is a very short scene in the middle that I added after some tweaking. It's a duplicate of the other scene, just without the boy hitting the truck with the hammer, and I added it to provide some breathing space right after the cut. We've got the zoom in effect in the first scene and the zoom out effect in the second scene. It's 2 seconds and 3.5 seconds. Again, this is something that you can play with in your own projects. In this cut, we are using pretty much the same principle of matching the position of the character between two scenes, but this time the character is moving. So what I did is I took this scene and then I chose continue scene, but before I do that, see that this is the movement of the character. And by choosing continue scene, I made sure that the starting position in the second scene is exactly the same as the ending position of the character in the first scene. And then I just removed the background from here, added some props to make it look like the bottom of the ocean. This cut is different and uses an audio transition. It's not obviously noticeable, but makes the cut more seamless to the viewer. Here, I shifted the audio from the second scene of the children playing to start during the first scene. So this is the audio file. As you can see, it overlaps the first scene. The name J-Cut comes from the shape of the video and audio clips resembling the letter J. Well, kind of. If we only had internet reception here. How can we find that mysterious school? Here's another audio transition, this time an L cut. I extended the background audio and the audio narration from the first scene onto the second scene here. Okay, this cut is called an L cut, as the video and audio tracks here look a bit like the letter L. I hope that you found this video useful and that it will help you to make more engaging Vyond animations. Thanks very much for watching.